When a girl grows up under the shadow of someone who puts their ego above her emotions, she learns to survive long before she learns to breathe freely. She learns to stay quiet to keep the peace, to shrink herself so someone else can feel bigger, and to question her worth even when the world sees her brilliance. But there comes a moment in every woman's life when she realizes that her past does not get to define her future. That moment is powerful. It's the spark that says you are allowed to take your voice back, to trust your own instincts, to build a life that reflects your strength rather than your scars. Today is about that journey. It's about understanding where the wounds came from, yes, but it's also about rising above them with grace, confidence, and a fierce determination to become everything you were told you couldn't be. There comes a time in life when you look at the person you've become and realize that so much of who you are was shaped by experiences you never chose. Growing up trying to meet expectations that were never meant for you, molding yourself to fit into spaces that never honored your heart, you start to forget where your true self begins. Breaking the chains is not just about walking away from painful patterns. It's about rediscovering the parts of you that were buried under years of doubt, fear, and confusion. It's about standing tall and saying that you no longer need to earn the right to exist, to feel, to speak, or to dream. Reclaiming your identity means reconnecting with the girl you once were before the world told you who you should be. It means peeling back the layers of self, blame, and realizing that your sensitivity, your intuition, your empathy, all the things you were taught to hide are actually your strengths. You start learning that your worth was never tied to someone else's approval. Your value was never based on how perfectly you could perform, how quietly you could endure, or how much you could give without receiving anything in return. You begin to understand that identity is not granted to you by anyone. It is created by you, shaped by your choices, and strengthened by your resilience. And then something beautiful happens. You start choosing yourself. You choose your peace over chaos, your voice over silence, your truth over fear. You set boundaries not because you are angry, but because you finally understand your own value. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop questioning every step you take. You stop shrinking yourself to make others feel comfortable. You begin to shape a life that reflects your courage and not your conditioning. Breaking the chains is not an act of rebellion. It is an act of self-love. It's allowing yourself to evolve into the woman you were always meant to be, confident, grounded, whole. And with every breath, every decision, every moment of clarity, you move closer to the version of yourself that feels free, authentic, and completely your own. There is a moment in every woman's journey when she looks back at everything she has survived and realizes that her story holds more strength than sorrow. The wounds you carry were never signs of weakness. They were the marks of someone who kept going even when she felt unheard, unseen, or undervalued. Transforming pain into personal power starts with acknowledging that every hurt you endured taught you something about your own resilience. It showed you the depth of your courage, the fire in your spirit, and the unwavering ability you have to rebuild yourself even in the darkest moments. You begin to understand that the experiences that once broke you open also opened your eyes. They taught you to read energies before words, to sense intentions behind actions, and to understand people more deeply than they understand themselves. That insight is a gift. It's why you walk into rooms with an awareness that others mistake for intuition, when really it was shaped by years of learning to navigate emotional storms. This wisdom becomes your shield, your guide, and your quiet superpower. The transformation truly begins when you stop seeing your past as something that ruined you and start seeing it as something that refined you. Every moment of doubt built your determination. Every tear strengthened your emotional clarity. Every disappointment sharpened your understanding of what you deserve. You learn that you are no longer defined by the pain that once overwhelmed you. Instead, you choose to define yourself by the growth that followed it. And slowly, the narrative changes. You stop asking why you had to go through what you did and begin recognizing what it has made you capable of. You learn to trust your voice again because it has spoken truth through every challenge. You learn to trust your heart again because it continued to beat with compassion even when it felt heavy. You learn to trust your future because you are no longer walking into it wounded, but wise. Pain does not get the final say in your life. You do, and when you take the wisdom that was carved from your struggles and use it to elevate yourself, everything shifts. You rise with a deeper understanding of your worth, your potential, and your power. You step into every new day knowing that nothing you have endured was for nothing. It was shaping the extraordinary strength that lives in you now. There comes a point in your life when you finally pause long enough to hear the quiet truth beneath all the noise. You were never the problem. For years, you may have carried the weight of feeling not enough, questioning your every move, shrinking your spirit just to keep the peace. When your sense of worth is shaped in an environment where love feels conditional and approval feels distant, you learn to measure yourself by standards that were never fair. But healing begins the moment you decide that those old definitions of your value no longer get to decide who you are. Rewriting your worth starts with unlearning the belief that you must earn love by being perfect. You begin to realize that your value doesn't come from how much you give, how quietly you endure, or how flawlessly you perform. Your worth is inherent. It's in your compassion, your strength, your creativity, your heart. It's in the way you care deeply, even when you've been hurt. It's in the way you rise again and again, no matter how many times life tried to dim your light. Healing self-esteem means allowing yourself to see your beauty without waiting for someone else to validate it. It means standing in front of your reflection and recognizing the woman who survived emotional storms that would have broken others. It's choosing to speak to yourself with kindness instead of criticism, replacing old narratives with truths that uplift you instead of diminish you. You stop chasing approval and start building a life where you feel safe, appreciated, and respected simply for being who you are. And then something shifts. You begin to take up space without apologizing. You set boundaries without guilt. You celebrate your achievements without downplaying them. You learn to trust your voice, your decisions, and your dreams. The world starts to look different because you no longer walk through it questioning your worth. You walk through it knowing you deserve love, peace, and fulfillment. Rewriting your worth is not about proving anything to anyone. It's about returning to yourself. It's choosing to honor the parts of you that were once overlooked. It's allowing your confidence to grow from within, not from external approval. It's stepping into your life with the understanding that you are enough, exactly as you are, and that your future will be shaped not by the wounds of your past, but by the strength of your healing and the truth you now choose to believe about yourself. There comes a stage in your life when you realize that peace is not something you stumble upon. It is something you choose with intention and courage. When you grow up in a world where emotional chaos feels normal, you sometimes carry those patterns into adulthood without even noticing. You become the one who over-explains, who tolerates too much, who gives until you are empty, because your heart was trained to believe that love requires sacrifice and silence. But breaking the cycle begins the moment you decide that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. It begins when you choose to stop repeating the emotional habits that once kept you small. Choosing peace is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate act of strength. It means walking away from drama even when you are accustomed to it. It means protecting your mental space with the same devotion you once gave to protecting others' feelings. It means waking up each day and reminding yourself that you deserve gentleness, calm, and clarity. You start to understand that real peace is not found in fixing others. It is found in honoring yourself. Boundaries become a powerful part of this transformation. For someone who grew up feeling responsible for everyone's emotions but her own, setting boundaries can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. But each boundary you set is a declaration of self-respect. It is a way of saying that your time, energy, and heart are valuable. You learn to say no without guilt, to step back without fear, and to prioritize your needs without apology. These are not walls to shut people out. They are doors that protect your inner world so you can finally breathe. And then comes emotional freedom, the gift you earn through this journey. It's the moment you stop seeking validation from places that never offered it. It's the moment you stop replaying old memories and start creating new ones built on self, trust, joy, and possibility. Emotional freedom is the ability to feel without fear, to love without losing yourself, and to move forward without carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you have broken patterns that generations before you could not. It's choosing the life your younger self dreamed of, but never knew how to reach. One filled with peace, strength, and a heart finally free from the weight of the past. There comes a moment when you look at your life and realize that everything you survived was shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more whole than you ever imagined. Rising strong doesn't mean pretending the past didn't leave marks. It means choosing to rise with those marks and still shine. You learn that strength is not built in comfort, but in the moments you had to stand alone, when you had to rebuild your confidence from the ground up, when you had to teach yourself how to trust your own voice after years of doubting it. Every challenge you faced carved out a deeper layer of resilience within you, a resilience that now becomes the foundation of the woman you are becoming. You start to understand that your past is a chapter, not the entire book. It shaped your perspective, your intuition, your emotional intelligence, but it does not define your destiny. You are allowed to dream bigger than what you came from. You are allowed to step into spaces your younger self couldn't even picture. You are allowed to rewrite your story in a way that celebrates your growth instead of your pain. Rising strong means embracing the truth that you deserve joy, love, and stability, not because you fought for them, but because they are your birthright. This journey is about reclaiming your confidence piece by piece. It's the moment you stop apologizing for wanting more. It's the moment you look at your reflection and recognize not just the woman you are today, but the woman you fought to become. You see the fire in your eyes, the softness in your heart, the courage in your steps, and you realize that nothing you experienced dimmed your spirit, it only refined it. Rising strong means stepping into your life with purpose, knowing you have earned every bit of strength that carries you forward, and slowly everything changes. Your dreams feel possible again. Your boundaries feel natural. Your voice feels powerful. You choose relationships that honor your worth, careers that reflect your passion, and environments that nurture your peace. You stop living in survival mode and start living in growth, abundance, and clarity. You become the woman who knows her value, who understands her power, and who rises every single time life challenges her. And in that rise, you finally meet the version of yourself you were always meant to become, the one built from courage, hope, and an unshakable belief that her future will be brighter than anything she left behind in the end. Your journey is not defined by the pain you endured, but by the strength you discovered within yourself along the way. Every step you take toward healing, every boundary you set, every moment you choose peace over chaos is shaping a future that reflects your true worth. You are no longer living under the shadow of old wounds. You are walking in the light of your own awakening. This is your time to rise, to rebuild, and to reclaim the life you were always meant to live. The path ahead is yours to define, shaped not by what you survived, but by the courage you carry forward. And as you continue to grow, heal, and evolve, remember this: your power was never taken from you. It was waiting within you, ready to shine the moment you chose yourself.